We got your face here. Okay, thank you. Alright, let me have a look at this. So, it says the Icy Veins team sat down with Tom Chilton and Ian from the WoW development team to ask a question about Demon Hunters, artifacts, the story in Legion, and what to expect for changing gameplay in the new expansion. Alright. Alright, so we got a new hero class. We already knew about that. Demon Hunter, right? As it stands, Demon Hunters are slated to wear leather armor, which expected. The developers used to feel that having too many classes in one armor type caused problems, but as the game has moved towards personal loot, that has become less of an issue. Plus, I don't think armor really matters as much as it used to, right? An all-new weapon type. Oh, sweet. So there's not only going to be a new class, there's going to be a new weapon type that goes along with them, but the glaives will be the only weapon type that Demon Hunters can use. So it used to be that I saw they could use one-handers and stuff, and they use energy. Now they only use glaives, and then they have Fury, or Demonic Fury. They are a weapon pair that comes together and fills both hand slots. Okay. Having only one available weapon type for the class will not be an issue in Legion, as you mostly focus on your artifact throughout this expansion. So you hear that, Jenny? What? You're mostly focused on your artifact through the expansion anyway. So only having one weapon type doesn't matter as much as what they said. In the future, Demon Hunters might eventually dual-wield the standard agility weapon types. Maybe. Demon Hunter's starting level has not been set, but a starting level between 95 and 100 is currently being debated as it's a hero class. It's hard to imagine a level 1 Demon Hunter running around Elwyn Forest. Yeah, I feel that, dude. That makes sense to me. Let's see. Artifacts. You obtain your artifact early in the Legion experience. So, that's what we thought yesterday. This is the weapon you will use throughout the expansion. You will not get weapon drops in Legion. You will not get weapon drops in Legion.
That is so weird.
Something that wasn't mentioned during the reveal is that each artifact has a number of relic slots, which determine its raw item stats, DPS, item level, etc. These modifiers are to the traits that you've chosen, so the artifact's stats will improve as you defeat bosses. So it sort of is like a PvE required thing. So it requires you to PvE is basically what it's saying. So some people are like, no, I'm forced to do PvE, but at the same time, like, you're encouraged, I would say you're encouraged to try different aspects of the game, even if you're only in a PvP. I don't mind that. I think doing PvE was kind of fun, even when we just sort of were doing it with the stream. I thought that was fun, so I'm not really mad about that. Let's see. It will be very important to see how the story plays out regarding artifacts that come from characters like Tyrion. No spoilers. Okay. So, existing legendary weapons and items are unchanged. Artifacts will be presented differently. There will not be any legendary weapons in Legion. Somebody buzzing me on my phone? Oh. Let's see. Update. Artifacts can still be transmogged into other items. So other items cannot be transmogged into artifacts, though, okay?
Okay.
So you can transmog your artifact, but you can't transmog something else to an artifact.
I have to follow the transmog rules. So, like, a staff can only be transmogged into another.
Probably so. Probably so. Alright. No dude can get them from beach as well. Let's keep reading. Let's read things out. We're gonna go to the storyline now. So, this is the main universe, Illidan. There is no alternate universe Azeroth going on. Okay, so this is the Illidan we know. Gul'dan was banished through the Twisting Nether into our world, into our time today. The scene where Gul'dan discovered and awoke Illidan is part of the Demon Hunter experience, and why Legion is at this place. They came specifically for Illidan. Maev was out of the pub. Okay. The only time you spend inside the Emerald Nightmare is in the raid zone. Its influence will be felt outside, but only the raid takes place inside the nightmare. The Emerald Dream / Nightmare might be expanded on further in the future. Okay. The Mists of Pandaria story saw that the Horde expelled from Dalaran, but with Khadgar as the leader of the Kirin Tor, he has worked with the Horde and feels responsible for Gul'dan and wants to help from both sides. Okay. That's why the Horde are back in Dalaran. Asked if Wrathion will be back, as he foretold the coming of the Legion? We'll see. Okay. Karazhan's brief appearance in the cinematic teaser was important. Karazhan is an important place. Alright. Dalaran is more or less lifted from the Wrath of the Lich King and will be a neutral capital city for both factions. For gameplay purposes, it will still be in Northrend. It won't be moved the way it was for Wrath. Some things may still have changed. Interesting. Okay, okay. Regarding the new Violet Hold and other Dalaran changes, the devs noted that Dalaran has some ancient purposes that weren't fully understood. Okay, and it is affected by being brought this close to the Tomb of Shar'Jaras. Alright. Interesting. So gameplay-wise, classes will evolve in a number of ways in Legion. The development team is looking closely at the core fantasy for each class. That's actually important to me. Talent changes and class changes are being made. Stay tuned. The PvP talent system also gives developers room to take PvP-type talents out of the current talent trees. PvP talents will not function in PvE environments. Interesting. Because I bet PvE talents function in PvP environments. Maybe. We'll see. As an example of class changes, the Survival Hunter's Spear artifact was brought up. We did wonder about that, didn't we? In Legion, Survival Hunters will be a melee spec that utilizes a pet. Interesting. To differentiate the specializations, the developers will try to de-homogenize the classes. Further to this, Beast Mastery Hunters will fight at range with a pet, while Marksmanship Hunters will fight at range with no pet at all. Interesting.
So survival's gonna be melee?
Yeah, that's what...
This is very melee heavy now.
Interesting.
Have you noticed, like, a lot of the classes, it seems like...
They're just sort of switching things up a little bit.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Demonology Warlocks will be masters of summoning and controlling demons. Metamorphosis sort of came to dominate the class, but the devs are refocusing the spec on demons. Affliction will continue to be about decay, and destructions will be about bursts of Felfire. Okay, all that makes sense. I like this when they sort of really get in touch with what the class should be about and sort of structure the gameplay around it. Kind of Arms versus Fury is a good example of that. Arms is kind of a slower, heavy-hitting playstyle. Fury is a fast, spiky, damage-dealing playstyle, and that makes sense to me, and that's why I'm not mad, like a lot of people are about Arms, but whatever. No stat squish is planned for Legion. Okay, health numbers are fairly high, but that is because health was intentionally increased to manage the feel and flow of healing. DPS is still easily an expansion away from the numbers players were seeing on the Siege of Orgrimmar. Okay. Professions are getting a lot of new stuff. Alright. The Professions theme for Legion is the largest that Blizzard has ever had for WoW. Holy moly. And they clearly heard the feedback the Professions were underutilized in Warlords and overlapped with the Garrisons too much. Okay. Realm Firsts are not coming back. Aw. There was value in some. Ian mentioned things like the first player to beat Brawlers Guild, Mythic Guild first, etc. But the general philosophy is to allow players to take their time and enjoy the content at their own pace. I actually like that, because I encourage players a lot of times to take their time, explore the game, really get immersed, because that's what makes, you know, World of Warcraft such a special thing. So that makes sense. Plenty of third parties actively track first 100, etc. So they don't need to do it officially. Okay. Update. Other Warlock specializations will not be losing access to the demon pets. Okay, so they'll all have demons. All right. So miscellaneous. Garrisons are staying in Draenor. If you want to go back and visit them, you can. They were always designed as something that you would leave in Draenor. The developers may revisit the system with something bigger, better, and different in the future. Class order halls are different, it says. So they're a shared multiplayer space. They just happen to be a place you can go to send your champions on missions. They don't duplicate the functionality of cities. No auction house, no bank. Think Atris for Death Knights. Okay. A release date is not yet set. The full cinematic is actually actively being worked on, but isn't quite complete yet. For new players who feel intimidated by the size and scope of the game, the developers feel that the new character boost helps get people to playing with their friends easier. Okay. That's the updates for Icy Veins. So that answers one of the main questions, is the artifact weapon is pretty much your weapon. Not a lot of PvP discussion, not a lot of particular class change notices except for like hunters and stuff, but I'm still interested to see what they mean by getting in touch with the fantasy of the class. I think that's a good thing, but that's cool. Good job, Icy Veins. We got to keep an eye on them for more interviews in the future. Very cool. All right.